So you're moving to the Dallas area. You know, you're over here on YouTube trying to find out everything you can, and you stumble upon this video. What? Can't stand Dallas? Don't move to Dallas? What's that all about? Well, stick around to find out. Hi everyone, my name is Wendy Pinnell and I am a realtor and a broker with our family company On Track Realty. Listen, I've been hanging my hat in the real estate world for over 14 years now, you know, along with my husband Dale, our son Blake, and our daughter Bree. I have to tell you, we have an absolute blast working together. There really is nothing like a family business. Okay. But more importantly than that, I am your Move to Texas guide. Now, we all know by now there are some fabulous things about living in Dallas. But honestly, you can benefit from most of those things just by living in the Dallas area, okay? You know what I'm talking about, like, you know, the weather, no personal income taxes, you know, that sort of thing. But there are, unfortunately, some things that make me want to give the city of Dallas the serious thumbs down. So let's talk about that, because you need to know, right? Okay, you need to know? Okay, well, your first real con, and I think a huge one, is Dallas traffic. Did you know 9 of the most congested roads in all of Texas, okay, which by the way is a really big state, 9 of the most congested roads in Texas are in Dallas County, okay? Yeah, traffic is a real problem here. Okay, so what is so problematic about that traffic? Well, it makes a commute incredibly unpredictable, okay? You know, so you get up to go to work, you know, and getting the kids all ready for school and everything, and you know, you look at your watch and then you look at your map app and it says, you know, 30-minute commute, and you're like, okay, you know, I expected that, right? You know, so you get in the car, get out on the highway, and all of a sudden there's some kind of major traffic jam, okay? You know, what could be, you know, construction, you know, traffic accident, and the next thing you know, you're just stuck on the highway, okay? Well, and you know, you've got cars everywhere. You know, you planned on being at work, you know, in a half hour, an hour later, you're still stuck on the highway, okay? You know, or it could be, you know, that you're headed home from work and, you know, you think you have a half hour and then you're stuck in traffic and you're late picking the kiddos up from daycare, okay? So just, you know, Dallas, you're really gonna run into major traffic problems, which are gonna affect commute problems. Yeah, let me give you an example, okay? A couple weeks ago, me and our youngest son went to spend the day at the Perot Museum together. It's just, if you haven't ever heard of the Perot Museum, when you're in Texas, you got to go there. It is a very cool place, okay? You know, so we enjoyed our morning there. We knew I had a haircut that afternoon. No big deal. You know, both of them are downtown, right? It's roughly the same area, no problem. Okay, so we spend a leisurely morning at the museum, you know, then we load up to head over to the haircut, you know, and I look at my map app and it says 6 minutes, right? I'm like, hey, you know what? We've got 10 minutes to spare. We are doing great. Okay. So we get in the car, right, listening to my map app, which, you know, and by the way, lest you doubt me, I do know my way around Dallas, right? It's just I'd never really gone, you know, from the Perot Museum, you know, to the haircut place, you know, never did that, but I promise you, I'm very familiar with the area. Anyway, we get in there and the map tells me to turn right, right? So we get up to this area, I go to turn right, and the whole road is closed because of construction, right? So just completely closed off, right? So I can't just stop there. I have to keep driving. I can't stop. And so I'm driving, waiting for my map app to recalculate. You know, it's going to take those, you know, just a minute or so. Okay, and so then it tells me to take this next turn, right? Okay, so I go to turn. Guess what? This next, you know, exit that it tells me to take, tells me to go left. It is now a one-way street in the opposite direction. Okay, I kid you not. So I'm like, okay, I can't turn that way. That way doesn't even exist anymore. So I keep going. Okay, long story short, what was supposed to be a 6-minute drive ended up taking me over a half hour. I was very much late to my haircut. Okay, I was not amused. All right. Okay, so why is that? Why is traffic and the commute so bad and so unpredictable? Well, for one thing, there's always construction, okay? Just count on it. There's going to be construction. Why is that? Well, because Dallas is always growing, right? And so, they're having to expand. They're having to build overpasses. They're having to widen roads, and then also just, it makes sense. The roads are getting worn out, okay? They're going to constantly get worn out just from so many commuters driving over it all the time, right? Okay, so within the city of Dallas, you have the infamous I-35E. Okay, this highway is horrible. It is one of the worst for traffic. And you know what? It cuts right through the heart of Dallas, okay? From the south to the north. It's one of the main roads, the main highways, okay? Literally, I've been driving since I was 18, and I can't remember a time ever that there was not construction on I-35, okay? Another highway that really just cuts right through the heart. So I-35E is going to go north-south. And then you have 67, which goes more in this direction, right? And it also really notorious for construction, okay? In fact, right now, if you have to get on Highway 67, okay, I really hope you're not claustrophobic because the highway is so narrow, okay? And again, it's because they have the left and the right closed off because they're expanding. They're expanding because they need the growth room, right? Now, within this area, the whole Metroplex, there's tons of highways, right? And your best ones usually are the tollways, okay? And in its defense, the city of Dallas does have a tollway. It has the Dallas North Tollway, okay? It's not entirely accessible, like from the southern section, you're not going to be able to get to it, but it does exist, okay? But you know what? There are some phenomenal tollways, in the Metroplex. Like my all-time favorite is President George Bush, okay? Outstanding. If you buy along George Bush Tollway, your commute will not be a nightmare. I can tell you it's a great tollway. The problem is, that is a phenomenal tollway and it is nowhere near Dallas, okay? It cuts all the way around. So traffic, a big problem, a major thumbs down. And it's just the city of Dallas. Now, I'm not talking again about the whole area, right, of Dallas. Today, I'm just really talking about the city of Dallas. It just doesn't have that many great highway options, and so it just really has a lot of traffic problems. Okay, moving on to thumbs down number 2. Why I'm not just a huge fan of Dallas, okay? Not that it's a horrible place, okay? It's just, not my favorite. All right, thumbs down number 2 is it is very, very overdeveloped, okay? Think about this logically. The city of Dallas has been around for a really long time. So it has built up houses, it's built up commercial space, industrial, right? It's all retail, it's all built up, okay? And so because of that, you don't see a whole lot of beautiful greenery, okay? Now it does have some, designated areas of greenery, but by and large, you're really just gonna see more like commercial, residential, industrial, retail. Okay, in fact, let me give you a little example, okay? Way back in 2004, the kiddos were still little, and the husband and I decided we were gonna pack them up, rent a motorhome, pack the kiddos up, and go on a road trip up the eastern coast, right? And so I'd never really thought to compare, just that aesthetic beauty before, right? So we go in, we drive through Tennessee. Oh, it's just gorgeous. We go in Pennsylvania, New Jersey. And I remember thinking when we were in New Jersey, there was this parkway, right? It cuts through the entire state. And it was just so beautiful. I remember looking to the left and to the right, and you have these huge, massive trees, I just remember thinking, this is really a very peaceful drive. And then we came back, we made our way back through Pennsylvania before heading back, and oh my goodness, it was just breathtaking. It was so beautiful, just so much undeveloped. And I'm not talking about like small crossroads either. This was like the highways through the state that were so beautiful. I just remember just sitting there in the motorhome, just looking out the window, just breathing it all in, because it was so amazing. Anyway, so we head back, back into the Dallas area. And for the first time ever, as we're coming through, I'm looking at the roads and I'm going, this is so ugly. Like, it literally had never occurred to me before how incredibly ugly the city of Dallas was. So we're driving right through downtown, and there's, really the downtown portion is probably the ugliest part from the highway, right? Because you're going to see like a lot of older homes, and they're going to have like, every one of them has a different colored fence, and they're old, they're aged, they're rickety. The houses, are kind of older. Right along downtown Dallas, you're going to see like the older commercial structures. Just everything's it's really not that very pretty, okay? And so, I just remember thinking, where is the green space that you see, like on the Parkway, head to New Jersey? Where is that, Dallas? Where's the green space, right? Which is not to say they don't have any, but just overall, thumbs down on the fact that the city of Dallas is very, very developed. Okay, moving on to thumbs down number 3, okay? And this one kind of goes back with what I just said, is that the city of Dallas is just really not very pretty. Okay, as it is, it's really mostly flat land anyway. I mean, there are a few exceptions to that, but for the most part, it doesn't have just like real, enchanting topography. But anyway, so you have already like flat land, but then the fact that it's so developed, like I was saying before, you drive down the highway, there's no greenery. Okay, what do you see? You see developed houses, you see sides of houses, you see old roads, and really that's what you do most of the time. If you think about it, when you're cutting through, you're mostly on the highway. Guys, I know I'm kind of painting a bleak picture here, but it's just really not the most beautiful of cities. So I'm, going to call that con number 3, thumbs down on number 3 there. This is not that very pretty, okay? All right, though, moving on, thumbs down, number 4, okay? Housing is more expensive in Dallas, okay? Now, and let me kind of clarify that by saying, yes, you have very, very expensive housing, and you absolutely do have affordable housing in Dallas, okay? What I want you to know, though, is that overall, you're going to pay higher for that in terms of like bang for the buck, if that makes sense, okay? Simply because there's more competition, okay? So more people wanting in the area means more buyers. Overall, the prices are going to be higher, okay? So you do have definitely some affordable areas, but if you compare them, to what you could get in the suburbs, you're going to get less, right? So like, let's just say, if your budget, I don't know, is like $400,000, what you can get in Dallas is going to be much less than what you could get in the suburbs, okay, if that makes sense. So simply, it's just going to be cheaper to buy in the suburbs than it is in the city of Dallas, right? So city of Dallas, cheaper to buy here in the suburbs, and even cheaper to buy here, in the exurbs, okay? So just in terms of a bang for the buck, because you definitely can find all price ranges, but bang for the buck, it's just gonna be more expensive in Dallas. Okay, moving on to thumbs down number 4 of why, the city of Dallas is not way up there on my list, all right? Okay, let's talk about property taxes. Okay, so I know if you've learned it all about Texas, you already know that, property taxes in Texas are high anyway, okay? But what I want you to know is that property taxes in Dallas are among the highest in the area. Okay, so what do you need to know about property taxes? Well, property taxes in Texas, are a formula. They're broken out into various components. You have like your county level. Sometimes you have your hospital district. You might have, college, and definitely school. You definitely have city taxes, right? So it's a formula, okay? Well, the county level property taxes, okay, that's generally is going to be the smallest portion of your overall formula. But, let me kind of give you an example here. Okay, the counties in the DFW metropolitan area each have their county level tax rate. Okay, so, guess what Collin County's is? Okay, and remember, Collin County is north of Dallas County. Their property tax rate is 0.27%. Okay, all right, now, how about Dallas County? Well, Dallas County is 0.66%. Okay, so more than double. Okay, so Collin County, 27%, Dallas County, 66%, and down here, Ellis County, want to take a guess at it? 0.36%. So you can kind of just see this huge disparity between Collin County, Dallas County, Ellis County, okay? So, Dallas County ends up with those higher property tax rates, okay? And again, that Dallas County example, that's just one component, but just overall, when you're within the city of Dallas, you're going to have a higher overall property tax rate. Okay, so moving on now to thumbs down number 6, okay, just kind of another con to living within the city of Dallas is, environmentally friendly transportation. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, Dallas just really isn't a walkable city. Okay, it's a big city. It's connected by just mass amounts of highways. Not really a place that you're going to be able to walk around in much. So that's one thing. It's not really walkable. Another thing is it doesn't have a bike sharing program, which is kind of surprising. You would think with a city this large that they'd find a way to make that happen, but they haven't. They did try it, and they just weren't able to make it be successful, so they nixed it, right? Now, if you compare that to Fort Worth has a very successful bike sharing program, okay? So, two things there, not walkable, no bike sharing program. The other thing is that they do have public transportation, but you can't plan on using it exclusively, okay? Because it's not extensive enough within the city. You couldn't, for example, plan on just not owning a car. Like if you really wanted to go green and just, completely on public transportation, you're not going to be able to do that in Dallas, okay? You're still going to have to own a vehicle, right? Because just getting from the stops also requires transportation, okay? So it would be hard to just really rely exclusively on public transportation. So you would still have to have a vehicle, right? So you have to drive to where the stop is. You have to make sure you can park wherever that stop is, right? You have to make sure you're on time to wherever that stop is because you might get caught in traffic again. So again, just, con number 6, just transportation's just not particularly environmentally friendly. Okay, moving on now to thumbs down number 7. Dallas is just really densely populated, okay? And I know that kind of goes back to what I said about number 2, how it's densely developed, but it also just has a ton of people packed into the city, okay? So like here's an example which I think will help you kind of to illustrate this, okay? Did you know you have Fort Worth here and Dallas here, okay? Did you know that geographically they're roughly the same size, okay? So roughly, same area. Did you know, just to compare, Fort Worth has a population of 942,000, right? Okay, so over here, Fort Worth. Well, Dallas, okay, over here, 1,347 something thousand, okay? So same area, but that just really helps you to see how many more people are packed into the city of Dallas, okay? So, con number 7, not so great, just really densely populated. Okay, now let me tell you about this last thumbs down, and I'm just gonna, disclose right off the bat that this is very subjective because you may actually love this, okay? It just really just depends, okay? So I would say thumbs down number 8 for many people, okay, is the political climate. Okay, so you've probably heard that Texas overall tends to run conservative, okay? It tends to be a Republican state. Well, the city of Dallas, okay, tends to run very liberal, tends to be more Democratic, right? Okay, again, very much going to tell you that is a personal preference, but many people would consider that a thumbs down. Let me just kind of give you an example. Texans tend to be kind of independent folk, okay? So during the COVID crisis, right, Texans wanted to really be able to be responsible for their own behavior, to practice social distancing and that sort of thing, but they didn't really want to be controlled by the government telling them they had to do that. So what did we see? Well, in counties like Collin County, Ellis County, Tarrant County, okay, you could choose to wear a mask, right, but you didn't have to during some portions of the COVID, right? That wasn't the case in Dallas, okay? Again, because of Dallas having more elected officials that were Democratic, there just tended to be a more restrictive environment. And so what you had was a lot of people who just wouldn't shop in Dallas because they were like, why would I shop in Dallas when I can hop over here to Tarrant County and not have to have a mask, right? And again, I completely acknowledge that this is a very subjective thing. Please don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you that for many people, they would consider that a thumbs down, the fact that Dallas, as in general, tends to be more liberal, surrounded by far more conservative cities and counties. Okay, so there you have it. A good 8 reasons or so there for why you may want to think twice about moving to the city of Dallas. Now, again, that is not to say there aren't some absolutely delightful suburbs around Dallas, because there absolutely are. And the cool thing is each of these suburbs are distinctive and unique in their own ways. And they each have so much to offer, okay? Some suburbs are all new and shiny, and some are much older with huge mature trees. Okay, now listen, if you think about it, moving to Texas is kind of like playing matchmaker, okay? You have an idea of what you like, what appeals to you, but you have no idea where to find it, right? Well, that's where me or Dale or Bree or Blake enter the scene. I mean, seriously, have you seen my channel with all the cities we spotlight? Listen, we know Dallas, we know Fort Worth, and we know the many, many, many suburbs in between, north, south, east, west, okay? We know them. So listen, how about this? How about you fill out our Let's Find Home questionnaire and let us play the matchmaker, okay? Look in the description section and you're gonna find it right there, okay? So, you like trees, you say? Or maybe you need affordable. Oh, outdoor activities are a must for you. No, you want acreage. Oh, no, wait, hang on. You want acreage on a budget. Oh, only the new will do. Okay, well, listen, trust me on this. There is a suburb out there for you. So fill out the form and let's go find it. And listen, if you want to get acquainted in a more personal way, drop on over to our website, okay? We have some bios there, some great information. You ready for it? www.myontrackrealty.com. And hey, if you found this information helpful, hop on over to my YouTube channel and let's get acquainted. Yeah, and of course, while you're there, you know the drill. Hit the subscribe button and click on that little bell, okay? There are 4 of us here all ready and waiting to help you find your place in Texas. We're here, we're ready, right? In the meantime, thank you so much for watching and listen, have a great day.